Agents getting paid. How do they get paid? The dollars and cents that go to agents, you don't find it on their website. So it's a little bit hidden, but we're going to tell you all about it this morning. Stay tuned.
It's a big question, isn't it? Commission, management fees. What do agents get charged? It is probably the single most asked question, I reckon, in our job. Do you think, Mark?
It's hidden behind secret walls, so you sort of don't find it anywhere. And even when you ring the agent and ask them, sometimes you get the answer, it depends. And you're like,
yeah.
Fuck, here we go.
Depends on what. And then there's this big long answer. It's not like, walking into a shop and people go, how much is that, please? And people go, oh, it's $54.99. You go, great, okay. And then you can make a decision. Commissions aren't like that.
Even when you drive past.
I'm going to let you talk more today.
Oh, thanks, Lise.
Yeah.
When you drive past car dealerships and they used to have prices on the windows, and you went, oh, look at that price, look at that price. Like, I love seeing a price.
Yeah.
But most importantly, Happy Australia Day, Lisa.
Happy Australia Day.
What an Australia Day.
Yeah, gosh, wasn't it ever?
What happened to the jet flyover? Nobody knows. That was a big fail. There was meant to be, like last year, the A380.
I'm laughing because we were waiting for it for about 3 hours.
Well, last year, there was the A380 that went over. There was the Hornets. Then there was the Red Barons. And this year, this little floppy jet came past and left.
Yeah.
So it was 4
But
seconds.
they made up for it with the entertainment last night. That was insane. For anyone that saw it down at Circular Quay, that was just crazy.
That was an event.
Honestly, that was, wasn't it? It was
Opera
amazing.
House.
Yeah.
Good on you, Sydney.
And however you celebrate that particular day, Australia Day, honestly, that was just a day to I don't know, for us just to celebrate what an amazing country we live in.
It is a cracker.
Phenomenal.
It is a cracker. And,
we're blessed.
I think if you talk to anyone internationally, they always acclaim, that, hey, who was the guy that I saw yesterday?
The guy that you saw was someone Senna?
I saw John Cena.
John Cena.
Yeah, and his wife.
Yeah.
The big wrestler.
Yeah, he's a big guy, isn't he?
Big unit.
Yeah. We were sitting in a coffee shop down in the city and we were like, oh, wow, he looks like someone famous. I actually said to Mark, Matt Damon.
Bit of a horse, though, eh?
Yeah, he's a big guy. Big guy. Looks like a nice guy, though. Yeah. So back to comms, guys. We're talking about commissions, agents. Why is it so hard to find out what agents charge? Why is it such a big deal? So we're just going to kind of break that down today. And if we've got time, we're going to talk a little bit about management fees as well. So commissions.
And we may need a little bit of help from our friends. Now, so if there's any agents watching, their management fee, because it does change. This is where it gets a little bit confusing. It does change in different cities and different states.
Oh, big time it does.
Management fees, which is, the fee when managing for a client a rental property, and selling fees, the percentage. It does.
So we're talking about Northern Beaches in Sydney, guys. I know it changes dramatically because I do heaps and heaps of training with the industry, and I'm often asking those agents, what's your normal commission? So, and it always shocks me as to how dramatic it does change. Mike decided just to give, actually, just on a side note, see these things, that microfiber cloth. If I was ever to buy Mark a gift, it would be a packet of those. You love these things. And they come out all the time. Like, this is where you didn't do this in your 20s, Mark. Because it wasn't cool. No, you definitely, you were not on a date pulling out a microfiber cloth. It's not just
sexy.
No, this is an old person.
Very, very functional.
This is an old person
thing. To clean the glasses. And
whatever.
To clean the camera lens.
Soon he's going to have his phone clipped onto his belt. That's going to be next. He's already got the key thing with all that stuff hanging off it.
Back to commission.
Anyway, okay, guys, commission. So what's normal? We go into listing presentations.
Yep.
And first question a vendor asks is, what do you reckon my property's worth in a nutshell? Second is, what's your commission?
Yep.
Now, here's what I know. You get what you pay for. That's the bottom line. Out of all the cleanups that I do, and we're going to cover those expired listings and cleanups on Monday night, we're going to do a special session. When I look at the agency agreement of the agent that did not get the result, 99% of the time, the commission was cheap. Not a coincidence. You do get what you pay for. But I want to also break that down further. What do you reckon, Mark?
Sometimes people don't know what to ask for. So I think often when you're interviewing an agent, you sort of just think you don't know what to ask. So you sort of just ask, what's my place worth? What do you charge?
No, but it's a big deal because vendors, some, not all, some vendors will choose an agent purely on commission. I mean, I've lost listings before because an agent was going to do 1.2 to 1.4% commission, which I would just never ever do. And yeah, they didn't get that result that they wanted.
But sometimes an agent doesn't illustrate the importance of what you got to do to get the best price for your property. Sometimes you don't have, like if you look at it like a tradesperson, like a carpenter, how would you know if he's a great carpenter or not?
No, you don't.
Do you know what I mean? So sometimes that you've got to, you just never had that agent through. So you had 2 or 3 agents, you picked the best of the 3, but you had sort of ordinary upon ordinary upon ordinary. And then when it came to fees, you sort of looked at like that fee, or that fee. So I do have to say, backing on fees, what are you getting for that?
Well,
and what's the real standout?
Well, I agree. So actually, this is a really, really good topic. The vendor doesn't know what they're getting. They think all the agents are the same. I think the vendor that asks, what's your commission, and is completely stuck on that, probably does feel that all agents are the same. So what are you doing that's over and above that? And at that stage, it is hard to say, well, look, we are going to get you the best result. The vendor doesn't know that.
How?
Well, how are you going to get me the best result? Exactly. Actually, we did a listing presentation on, I think it was Wednesday. I'm getting a bit lost with my days this week. And this was a huge topic of conversation. And Michael, who's my colleague, is phenomenal at maths, and he had sat there and actually broken it down. These guys had an agent come through that was going to do 1.5%. Just to be transparent, on apartments, we do 1.99% plus GST. I want to cover the flexi fee in a moment as well. The difference worked out to be, off the top of my head, I think it was no more than a couple of $1,000s. They'd had 2 recent sales in their block. And when we were going through comparables, I'd said to the vendors, these 2 recent sales in your block, really, I think they're actually very low sales. I really do. I feel like your property's got a 9 in front of it. These other apartments that were bigger than theirs had sold in the low to mid 800s. And I said to them, was it the market, or do you think it was maybe the agent? And so the difference that you are trying to save, the couple of $1,000s that you're trying to save in getting a cheaper agent, could, and very often will, cost you tens of thousands of dollars in your sale price. Fact.
But sometimes there's just shit agents. They just charge shit commission, and they're actually.
But why are they charging cheap commission?
That's a fair price for their service, because I think if you're an agent that's going to put in to selling someone's property 5 hours a week, and it's going to take 2 to 4 weeks to sell that property, there's a fee for that. And I think if you're an agent that's going to put 80 hours a week into selling that one property, equally there's a fee for that. But how, as a seller, do you get to see, or how do you get that demonstrated to you to say, I'm going to invest in the better agent because they are better? It's a really hard thing as a vendor to sit there and see. I think track record's awesome.
Agreed.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that agent is just getting really good prices in the area, doing a lot of relevant sales in the area, well, I probably do want to pay them that little bit extra, because they're going to have the buyer database, the expertise, the know-how. demonstrating that they are, the better of the agents in the area by doing that. So you will have to pay a little bit more.
Yeah.
If you do get an agent that's not doing a lot of volume, perhaps just starting with no experience, or perhaps just finishing with a lot of experience, but not quite in it, sometimes they may be low on the fees as well. So I think you've got to look at, are you getting an absolute pro at getting the best price for your property? Now, property management's the same thing.
Yeah. Just before we cover property management, I had listed a property in DY, a 2-bedroom apartment. You guys might have seen it on my socials. It got 48 groups coming through it last Saturday. It was on the market for about maybe not even 3 days. It had been on the market, and we have exchanged it for a phenomenal price, actually more than what the vendor's expectations were. An apartment came on next door with another agent. And you can
just now.
Yeah, just now. Yeah, same time. So I turned up to that open home last Saturday and had people literally lining up down the street.
Yeah.
The apartment next door that is identical to this apartment that's with another agent, A, has not exchanged, and B, did not have the volumes coming through that property that we did.
Yeah.
The vendor called me.
As they do.
And said, that vendor of the property, of the apartment that I'm not selling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and said,
shit.
what's going on? Like, how are you going with that property? I saw all those buyers. I said, well, actually, we've exchanged. We're in a cooling off period, and we've exchanged for a phenomenal price. And she's going, what? Why isn't mine?
Yeah.
So, and again, it comes down to, you get what you pay for. You really do. It's not just about the cheapest commission. That was a huge amount of strategy that went into getting that property exchanged, and why we got 48 groups through, and those guys next door only got 15 groups through.
What were you saying about commercial yesterday?
That's not luck.
Are you paying for... What's a great saying that you had yesterday?
Are you...
Just in your spare time, you're just throwing around marketing quotes?
On a public holiday.
Yeah.
Are you... Something about ads. Are you seeing ads?
Are you just advertising or selling?
Oh, are you just advertising the products, or are you actually selling them? Something along those lines.
I reckon you've just hit that nail on the head. I reckon the difference between agents and fees are they just advertising your property, or are they really selling it? With every aspect, with all their might, with all their experience. Okay, so 1.99%.
I want to talk about flexi.
1.99% is the fee we charge for units, plus GST on the sales price of the property. Some people don't know the fee's not payable during, before, upfront, but the fee's actually payable on settlement. So when you get all of your money, that's when the agent will also get paid as well. So if it's a 6-week settlement, the agent gets paid at the end of the 6 weeks. That's when the vendor gets all their money.
But also, just on that, guys, we're not the most expensive, and we're definitely not the cheapest, nor do we want to be the cheapest, but we're certainly not the most expensive. It's fair value. So commissions in our area on the Northern Beaches can kind of range from 1.5 up to probably 2.2 plus GST, just to give you a bit of an idea as to what commissions look like. Anything that's sort of under 1.5, alarm bells should definitely be ringing. That's for sure. I mean, I've had vendors come to me and say, oh, blah blah, we'll do it for 1.2% plus GST. I'm like, no, I would never. Be really careful.
You're not going to, you don't get a heart surgeon negotiating on doing half price specials. An experienced practitioner in real estate,
bottom line,
doesn't do it like those
fees. It's your
fees.
property. It's your property.
You can't deliver the service.
I just want to talk about flexi fee as well, because flexi is something that we do on houses. We, as in our team, the office does offer it, but each agent's individual. So we do a flexi fee, and it's been enormously successful for vendors. And it's a range in commission that we give, and the vendor can nominate what they would like to pay us once they are successfully sold. And the reason we do that, and it's for houses, apartments we just don't, because there's just obviously not enough in it. And bear in mind, we offer a $0 marketing strategy as well. So there's a saving of about $5,000 odd. But the flexi fee is awesome. Vendors can choose what they want to pay us for their property, houses, and we just ask them to base it on service and results. And I was at a listing presentation the other day, and the vendor goes, I don't get it. Why wouldn't I just pay you at the bottom end? And I said, well, let me ask you that question once you're sold. Because if I, but, you know, if the agent...
Lisa just drops the mic and walks out of the presentation.
But, you know, if the agent got you a phenomenal result and you were over the moon with the level of service that they provided, you're not likely going to opt for the lower end of the commission. So, you know, if that's all that they could afford, you know, we will have that conversation. And that's fine. I took that risk.
I love the question is, if the commission was out of the equation, which agent would you choose?
Love that.
I think that's really interesting that, you know, that it often gets tabled for conversation, the commission, but when you're making that decision, sweep it away, don't think about it, and look at the 2, 3, 4 people that you've interviewed and say, who is going to get, not who you like the most, who is going to get the best price for my property, who has displayed,
I agree,
when they've spoken to me, that they're going to get the absolute best price. That's the person you want to be negotiating on a commission with.
I agree. Not only that, guys, but, you know, reviews, that's another topic we should cover, actually, because sometimes, you know, sometimes you go onto sites and you'll look at reviews and think, I feel like these are made up. That's not so in real estate. The reviews that we receive, so I use realestate.com as my go-to platform for reviews. There's another big one called Rate My Agent.
RATE.
Yeah, not rate. Yeah. They all have to be verified. So the vendor fills out a review. They've got to be verified against the property by those portals. So it's just, you cannot fake these reviews. They're legitimate. That is a really great way. If you haven't seen, you know, the boards up and, you know, you can't do the digital interview on the agent, that's a really good way to go through and hear what the vendors and buyers are saying about a particular agent.
You've been talking a lot because we haven't even done property management and we're at the end of the session.
We're not at the end. We're at 17 minutes and 30.
Meant to be over in 15.
Oh, we always go over 20 minutes.
Anyway,
Mark usually talks too much.
I think we'll just stick to sales in this circumstance because we're out of time.
Yeah.
But what other things, which commission? What about a signboard, brochure, photography?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Is that another topic?
Oh, that is, that's another massive topic. So again, I was at a listing presentation on Wednesday afternoon, and these guys had been on the market, beautiful property. They'd been on the market with another agent for quite a few months. And it's
generally about 4 months, 3 or 4 months that people end up switching to another agent. That's when they really get, the first month they're tolerant, second month they get itchy, third month they get the shits.
And again, marketing changes really significantly from area to area. On the Northern Beaches, on average, for marketing, and again, this is a big topic.
Do you want to talk about this one?
You know what? I'm going to sit here. I'm going to drink my coffee. You go.
No, I handed it to you.
So on average, I would say to you about $5,000. Realestate.com, domain, photos, and board. That's about what you should be paying. These guys had paid $20,000. So no result, 20 grand. Well, that's what I said. And actually, I've just recently sold another property for them.
I guess they could furniture, maybe.
No, Mark, there was no styling. That's not styling. Yep. It's a huge amount of money. So that's a big topic. I want to cover that one next time.
To break that down, realestate.com is going to charge about $3,000-$4,000. That's cost price.
Area dependent.
Yeah, so they charge. Yeah, if you're a really heavy profile area, they'll charge towards the upper end of that. If it's sort of a suburb that doesn't get a lot of traction, but you're in that suburb, they'll charge maybe $2,500, $3,000.
Agreed. So I was like, oh, what did you guys pay for? Look, the thing is, and again, we're going to, guys, on Monday night, Mark and I are going to do a big segment on expired listings and the cleanup and changing agents and what you can do. We're going to throw you out a lifeline. I did an interview on Tuesday with Tom Panos's real estate gym.
Yeah.
There was like 100 students all in a virtual classroom. And I got smashed for the last 48 hours. I've gotten smashed with questions on it. So we're going to do our own segment and we're going to help you guys if you're an agent. And if you are a seller and you've been on the market for too long, this is going to be a really good segment that you just won't want to miss. We're going to throw you guys out a lifeline.
Believe it or not, you're probably not going to get that a lot in property management because properties are renting so quickly. You're not going to switch to another agent. But where you will switch to another agent on rentals is not for the leasing process because everything's leasing like that. It's when shit goes wrong under management. And that's when I think you can really get tangled up in property management if your property manager is not experienced and doing the right thing, where you're still paying the same regular fee. And just broadly, it's between 5% and 7%. It does go up to 8% in Queensland and other some other sort of northern states. They're a little bit more expensive because the dollar value is a little bit lower. But yeah, that's the fees.
Yeah. So big topic Monday night, guys. Tune in for that one. That'll be Mark and I doing that 8 p.m. on Monday evening.
Yep.
I think that's it.
Anything else? Friday Frenzy, end of the week.
Yeah, it always throws you, doesn't it?
Australia Day.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people went away. I reckon a lot of people have taken the Friday, Saturday off and have just had a nice little
The market
weekend.
is crazy.
People are back after Australia Day.
Yeah.
Bang.
So Monday is pretty much the start line. This coming Monday is pretty much the start line for real estate and everything, solicitors, etc., etc. But we're still seeing enormous group numbers coming through property. Is that going to change? We've just got a question mark there. Let's wait and see what next week brings with stock levels. I don't think we're going to see a lot of stock coming on. I think we'll see some. I don't think we're going to see the volumes that everyone's thinking. That's my prediction.
And that could rally prices up, not down.
Yet to be seen.
If that stock's that low.
Well done, Mark.
Well done, Lisa. You really smashed it today.
Guys, have a great day. Have an awesome long weekend if you're taking one. And we'll see you on Monday night.
Love you. See you. Bye.